5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You stupid, ignorant, dumb bastards! I've met some dumb bastards in my time, but you outdo them all. Get over there!
This is the Keith Hanson Show. No holds barred.
You've never been out of college. You don't know what it's like out there. I've worked in the private sector. They expect results.
Using his head, speaking from the heart, and telling it like it is.
Isn't this an indictment of our entire American society? Well, you can do what you want to us. But we're not going to sit here and listen to you bad-mouth the United States of America. Gentlemen!
The Keith Hanson Show.
Oh, have I got your attention now?
On WNTK and WUVR.
Can't you see I'm easily bothered?
9:07, welcome to a Thursday fired up edition of the Keith Hanson Show. Great to have you along on this Thursday morning. It's a nice day out there. For sure, but I'll tell you something. It's a nice day, but man, this is the state of affairs in this country right now, especially this dialogue that's taking place as a result of the shooting in Las Vegas. This is really turning into some of the ugliest rhetoric I've seen. I'm not going to say ever, but damn close to it. 526-9464 if you want to get in on today's conversation. Again, 526-9464 or 888-299-3151. That's 888-299-3151. Also, keep the email address handy, keith@WNTK.com. That's keith@WNTK.com. Good, bad, or indifferent. I do certainly appreciate reading your emails each and every day, and I do strive to get back to you in a timely fashion. Also, you can message me in studio anytime during the show when it's broadcasting. Just head over to the Facebook page, facebook.com/WNTK Radio. Click that like button. You'll have access to that send message button. You can message me directly in the studio and share with me your thoughts. All right, so again, more and more of our elected officials are piling up on this gun control debate specifically. And this is something I called this. I said early on, judging by what I heard, and I am not one of these people that's going to sit there and start picking it apart and looking at it pixel by pixel. I heard the audio. I said, it sounds like it's a bump stock. Sure enough, now the reports come out, it's a bump stock. So I called that one. Well, now bump stocks have to be made illegal. We're going to get, and of course we had Emily from the Law Shield, U.S. Law Shield, on yesterday, and we were talking about the bump stocks. We're going to get somebody from the ATF on. I'm just working on getting somebody who is authorized to speak on to talk about the bump stocks and exactly what differentiates the use of a bump stock from a fully automatic weapon and why those have not been regulated by the ATF, why they've been cleared, and what the likelihood is that this is going to be banned. Now, again, this is the low-hanging fruit for the intellectually impotent. Let's not look at the problem. Let's not look at the root cause. Now, I know some people are going to say right now, well, we don't exactly know what the cause was. What motivated this person? I suspect that information is, or at least has been discovered. Has it been made public yet? No. Now, again, I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theories, and Lord knows there's enough of those out there on Facebook. And by the way, if you're one of these people that's out there perpetuating these conspiracy theories, I think it's ignorant and irresponsible. And perhaps you should wait until the information comes out before you start jumping to conclusions. Because you're neither a firearms expert, nor are you a forensics expert, nor are you an investigative expert. Unless you happen to have those credentials in your resume. And typically the people who have those credentials in their resumes are keeping their damn mouths shut. Because they know a lot of information can't be released at this particular point in time. But the big issue here is the number of politicians that are piling up on this gun control issue. And the number, I mean, we talked about Jimmy Kimmel yesterday. Jimmy Kimmel, of course, taking 10 minutes out of his not-so-funny comedy show to pontificate as the moral authority on firearms and gun crime. And, of course, again, it's already been established that the majority of his talking points are coming from Chuck Schumer. So, basically, Chuck Schumer found himself a mouthpiece. I had somebody send me over and I've got about 50 million windows literally open on my computer here. So Don Lemon last night on the Clinton News Network had interviewed Congressman John Lewis. Now, you've got people that are out there saying John Lewis is a civil rights icon. John Lewis is a race pimp. There's no question about it. Member of the Congressional Black Caucus. And again, listen, reverse racism is alive and well in this country. There's no question about it. I would like to see how quickly they would draw quarter the person who suggests the white congressional caucus. But, of course, John Lewis, no problem being a part of the Congressional Black Caucus. Has to share his thoughts with Don Lemon on the Clinton News Network. And he goes on to say, among other things, I don't understand how, as elected officials, we can be at home with ourselves when our fellow citizens have been mowed down by guns. I'm going to play this for you real quick because I think it needs to be it needs to be heard, and we're going to pick this apart real quick.
So you don't think this has anything to do with the Constitution anymore, do you?
No. I believe in the Second Amendment, but there are people...
This is how it always plays out. I believe in the Second Amendment, but. I support the Second Amendment, but. There's always a but. So the qualifying statement is, well, I'm not that different from you because I believe in the Second Amendment. Well, I believe in gravity because it's been proven. It exists. Gravity is there. I may not like it. I may wish there were times I could defy gravity, but I have to believe in gravity because it's a real thing. So this whole, I believe in, that's not a statement of, I support the Second Amendment. I believe in the values that are conveyed in the Second Amendment. I believe that individuals have the right to protect themselves from criminal scumbags, and the use of a firearm is inherently one of the ways that a person is going to be able to protect themselves from said scumbags. Because remember, John Lewis doesn't want you to have the ability to protect yourself. Because if you have the ability to protect yourself, you don't need government. That's right. Well, you got 911. Just call 911. Well, 911 really only works when you got a police officer standing by your side. 911 is not going to help you when you're in Canaan, New Hampshire, and your local police are 15 minutes away. I get the phones ringing here. Probably get some calls that want to get through. Let me just take a quick 30-second break here, get some calls transferred over. You're listening to the Keith Hanson Show on 99.7 FM WNTK and 98.9 FM and 1490 AM WUVR. Be right back.
Do you have something going on, a special community event, even a garage sale? Now you can get that information out to everybody in the Upper Valley for free at WNTK.com. We might even mention it on the radio. The WNTK Community Calendar is a free service from News Talk 99.7 WNTK. To get maximum exposure for your special event, go to WNTK.com right now, click on the free community calendar link, and we'll take care of the rest. It's a free community service from News Talk 99.7 WNTK.
This is Joe from Salt Hill Pub. Salt Hill Pub Shanty at the Mount Sunapee Traffic Circle. Boy, I tell you, our family roots go really deep at that location. I mean, we grew up on that property. Sometimes I really wonder what Mom and Dad, what Tom and Judy Toohey would think looking at their sons and daughter now with Salt Hill Pub. We're really, truly proud to have the family we have, and the family just goes far beyond what we are as brothers and sister. It goes to a whole large community of people that support us and love us, and we love and support you back. Thank you.
9:15, you're listening to the Keith Hanson Show on 99.7 FM WNTK and 98.9 FM and 1490 AM WUVR. We were just getting into the conversation between the Clinton News Network's Don Lemon and Congressional Black Caucus member Representative John Lewis, who opened up his reply to Don's question, you no longer believe this is a constitutional issue. And, of course, Congressman Lewis comes out and says, well, I believe in the Second Amendment, but. Let's pick up after that but.
who said we cannot change things, we cannot make guns safe for people. At the same time, they don't even believe in the First Amendment.
No, we believe in the First Amendment. It's people like you, Mr. Lewis, who don't believe in the First Amendment. It's people like your supporters who go out and burn buildings, smash windows, flip over cars, and violently assault people when they want to express themselves via their First Amendment rights.
There are people who are saying that the time is not right. Martin Luther King Jr. said on one occasion, at the height of the Civil Rights Movement, the time is always right to do right.
And Rahm Emanuel said, never let a crisis go to waste. A crisis is an opportunity to do things that you can't normally do.
I don't understand how, as elected officials, we can be at home with ourselves when we live in a society where our fellow citizens have been mowed down by guns.
Well, evidently, Congressional Black Caucus member Representative John Lewis hasn't gotten the memo about what's happened in Chicago. Now, this is interesting because my next guest coming up, he's going to take issue with the fact that I'm invoking what he's most likely going to consider a logical fallacy between the body counts in Chicago and what happened in Las Vegas. But let's take a look at the fresh numbers. Now, interestingly enough, 527 people wounded in Las Vegas and 59 people killed. Interestingly enough, there's actually some parallels with the numbers in Chicago. In 2017, year to date, 501 people have been killed. So almost the same number of people who were wounded in Las Vegas have been killed in one city. In September alone, 57 people have been killed. 273 people have been wounded. But 57 people, almost the same number of people who were killed in the Las Vegas situation, have been shot and killed in Chicago. And what population are the majority of these deaths occurring in? It's not in the white community. It's not in the Hispanic community. Oh, it's in the black community, the one that Representative John Lewis himself is supposed to be advocating for. If this guy's so concerned about human life, then where are the marches day after day after day? Where are the sit-downs with the Godfather himself, Rahm Emanuel? Mr. I love to let a crisis, never let a crisis go to waste. Why isn't that conversation being had there? Because it has to do with this notion in this country perpetrated not only by the Clinton News Network, but by our very own New Hampshire State Representative Sherry Frost, who says we have a white male problem. That's right. Clinton News Network has chalked this up to white angry men. Well, let me tell you something. I'm a pretty pissed off white guy. And I'm going to remind you that if it wasn't for white angry men picking up rifles and storming a beach and not being pajama boys, that the course of history would have been changed. That this country, our nation, was set free by angry white men. That millions of people's lives have been saved around the world by these angry white men. Yet nary an argument is made to try to contradict those ridiculous, insidious, insipid, and inflammatory statements. Angry white men. Yeah, we're getting pissed off. You're damn right we're getting pissed off. We're getting pissed off because day after day after day after day, liberal progressives are assaulting this country, assaulting the values and the morals because they don't have any. See, when you don't possess morals, it's not a big deal to turn around and assault somebody else for theirs, belittle them and make fun of them because they actually have a standard by which they live their lives. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Dr. Frank Lee is going to join me. He's the founder and president of West and West East International. That's a Chicago-based import and export company. And he writes extensively on politics. He's actually been referred to as a modern-day Thomas Jefferson. And we're going to have him on the program here. We're going to talk about a couple of his books, too, American Democracy, Why It's Failing and How to Fix It, and also Saving America Chinese Style. This will be interesting. And I think he may take some issue with the comparison that I drew between Las Vegas, or the comparing and contrasting of numbers between the Las Vegas massacre and what's going on over there in his hometown of Chicagoland. Keith Hanson Show, much more coming up right after this. 9:21, you are listening to WNTK and WUVR.
The clock is ticking. Every day you put off buying life insurance can cost you big time. The older you get, the more you'll have to pay. And a sudden accident or unexpected illness could cause your rates to skyrocket or even make you uninsurable. Beat the clock. Call Select Quote now. No hassle, no obligation. In minutes, you'll have a choice of your best rates from up to 10 highly rated life insurance companies. Richard, 40 years old, takes meds to control his cholesterol. Still, Select Quote got him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $25 a month. Under $1 a day. Don't risk your family's security another minute. Get your free quote now. Just call 800-280-8787. That's 800-280-8787. 800-280-8787 or go to selectquote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save.
Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price could vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors. Not available in all states.
We do things the right way here at Summercrest Assisted Living in Newport, and today we're asking residents to describe Summercrest in their own words.
It's an excellent time.
It's the bee's knees.
No doubt about it, life is good here.
It doesn't matter how you say it, life is good here at Summercrest. There's a reason people call us first.
Ask for Lee Stocker, 863-8181, or visit us online at summercrest.net.
Monthly service fees apply. Authorization, enrollment, and activation activities are required to receive all services. Contact institution for details and more information.
You know, I'm glad you talked me into this retreat, honey. I know I can get kind of stressed. It's so peaceful out here.
I thought we said no phones.
Yeah, let me just check this one email. Warning, your social security number was just sold on sneakythug.com.
There's never a good time for identity theft. But when you have Kasasa Protect, you're prepared 24/7.
Oh, great. My information's been stolen, and we're in the middle of a forest.
Remember how I signed us up for Kasasa Protect? We just have to make one call.
Oh.
And then the phone's going night-night.
Get around-the-clock identity protection and rest easy with Kasasa Protect. It's like body armor for your private information.
Find Kasasa at ClaremontSavings.com. Do you Kasasa? Claremont Savings Bank, member FDIC.
Home. It's more than a simple word. Home is comfort, security. Home, in a sense, is you. And your home can showcase your sense of individuality, creativeness, and attention to detail. Enter North Cape Design Build, your blueprint to brilliance. North Cape Design is the epitome of one-stop shopping, offering services from planning and design to the realization of your completed dream project. Custom crafted homes, additions and renovations, kitchen and bath, interior design. Daydreaming about that master bath, new kitchen, indoors or out, or even a home theater? North Cape Design's options and services for your home are virtually limitless. One source that provides high-quality professional design and craftsmanship for over 40 years. Visit sunapycustomhomes.com or call 603-763-2477. North Cape Design, your blueprint to brilliance.
Your opinion counts. Join the conversation now at 603-526-9464.
9:25, you are listening to a Thursday edition of the Keith Hanson Show. Great to have you along on this Thursday morning. 526-9464 if you would like to get in on the conversation. Again, 526-9464 or 888-299-3151. That's 888-299-3151. Also, keep the email handy, Keith at WNTK.com. That's Keith at WNTK.com. All right, my next guest is the founder and president of WEI, that's West East International. It's a Chicago-based import-export company. He received his bachelor's from Zhejiang University in China and a PhD from Vanderbilt University in 1988, all in electrical engineering. He worked for several companies until 2005 when he founded his own company, WEI. Today, a leader in the scale industry, and he writes extensively and uniquely about politics. He's published a couple of books, including American Democracy, Why It's Failing and How to Fix It, the GOP Bible for 2016, and here's an interesting title, Saving America, Chinese Style. And when I had mentioned I wanted to have him on the radio, he promised me an autographed book, which he assured me will be worth at least $1 million in the next couple of years. Dr. Frank Lee, thank you so much for joining me on the program. Good morning.
Thank you, too.
All right, so your book's going to be with your signature now. It's going to be worth a lot of money, I hope, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so you heard my opening monologue here, and you had put out a paper, which is why I had reached out to you, because I wanted to get your perspective on this. A couple of things. In your article that you had published originally on the 3rd of October, Gun Massacres in America, talking about guns, gun control, and then you also brought up an interesting point, which is an invalid comparison between the Las Vegas shooting and the Chicago shootings. And you actually live in Chicago. So give me a little bit of understanding about why you feel that that's inaccurate to make the comparison between Las Vegas and Chicago.
The Las Vegas shooting can be described in one word. It's a massacre. Mm-hmm. Chicago shootings are not. And motivations are also very different. In Las Vegas, you're shooting a bunch of innocent people trying to set up a new record in terms of number of victims and wounded. In Chicago, mostly are gang-related. And you targeted one or two individuals, although occasionally some innocent people were caught in fire. It's also known as in a wrong place at the wrong time. So furthermore, the motivations are also different, although we don't know the motivation of the Las Vegas shooter yet, but I suspect it's very different.
All right, so here's an actual breakdown of the numbers from the month of September. 57 people killed, 273 wounded. Here are the stats for that. 57 people shot and killed. One of those was a fatal police shooting. One of them was a self-defense homicide. There were 4 homicide-linked arrests. 11 people shot on per average per day. There were 4 days in the month of September that were homicide-free. 5 death investigations. 67 of the people who were wounded are serious or critical condition. 50 of them were males. 7 of them were females. 53 were teenagers. Of the 53 teenagers that were shot, 5 of them were killed. All right, so, here's the question. You talk about a massacre. It sounds to me like it's a massacre that's going on in Chicago, irrespective of the fact that Las Vegas is being committed by one person and the crime that's being committed, or the murders that are being committed in Chicago are being committed by presumably a number of people. It's a massacre. When people are dying in massive numbers like that, it's a massacre.
No, it's not. I never heard people using the term massacre in Chicago. And
well, what would you call it? What would you call it, Dr. Lee?
It's mass killings, one by one at a time.
So a mass killing isn't a massacre? When we talk about what happened in Cambodia, when we talk about what happened in Soviet Russia, when we talk about what happened in Cuba, when we talk about what happened in Germany, in China, I mean, you're Chinese. You talk about China. You certainly had Mao Zedong. It wasn't Mao Zedong who was going out and killing all of those people, but you wouldn't say that what happened under Mao Zedong's reign wasn't a massacre? I mean, when people are killed in mass, it's a massacre.
Yes, but that's why we say it's the stats, damn stats. Okay, you cannot just look at the numbers and draw some conclusion. You have to look at the motivations behind it and the situations. In Chicago, most of the people killed are black. Killing occur in black community, and it's the root cause is poverty and moral decay. Whereas in Las Vegas, it's just a bad guy with easy access to semi-automatic or automatic rifles and shooting a lot of people for his own purpose. So its motivations are very different. Situations are very, very different. Therefore, the solutions must be very different too.
Okay, in all fairness, I think we have to draw one clarification, though, Doctor, and that's that the motivations of the Las Vegas shooter, at least to my knowledge, have not yet been disclosed. We don't know what motivated him. We don't know if he was just a guy who was pissed off at the world. We don't know if he was politically motivated. We don't know if he was religiously radicalized. There's been some, at least some rumors and some speculation that perhaps he had been radicalized. It hasn't been confirmed, but it has yet to be ruled out as a potential driving factor here. So I think it's a little bit premature to say, well, you know, he was just a pissed off guy who had access to guns.
But I think it's definitely different from the motivations behind the killings in Chicagoland. Chicagoland is gang-related, once again, targeting often one or two individuals at a time, whereas there is just trying to make a news, killing a lot of people, perhaps killing a lot of conservative, young, country music lovers. But it's different. It's completely different from no matter what the motivation is behind this guy, but it would not be the same as the killings in Chicago. It's totally different.
I think most people who have a moral compass and an ethical foundation would say that a murder is a murder, irrespective of whether I'm killing you because of a disagreement regarding the outcome of a drug transaction or a disagreement regarding our political or religious affiliations. A murder is a murder, and it's an inexcusable act irrespective of what the motivating factor was.
Yeah, if you simply start at the symptom level, yes. But if you want to look for a solution, then you have to understand the motivation, the real cause, and cure the real cause. So that's why I'm different from many Americans. I don't look at the symptoms alone. I try to look for the root cause and try to propose a solution that will fix the root cause. In this comparison, the root causes are different. Therefore, the solutions will be very different.
So let's get into some of the potential. Let's talk about the root causes, and then let's talk about some of the solutions. As you see it, what are the issues here? What are the motivating factors? I mean, aside from the Chicagoland shootings, which you assert are as a result, and I would agree with you. I mean, they're largely due to drug and gang activity in neighborhoods that are predominantly infested with drugs and gangs. So I think we can agree on that. But I mean, in terms of the other slice of this argument, and talking about Las Vegas, I mean, certainly we could go back to any of the mass shootings, whether it's Newtown. The only thing I'm going to ask you is please don't use the names of the shooters on the program. I don't want to give them any type of dignity. We just refer to them as the incidents. Please don't refer to them as the names of the perpetrators. But when we talk about Pulse nightclub, when we talk about Newtown, when we talk about the Aurora, Colorado shooting or the Columbine High School shooting, any of these, what do you see as the root cause, and then what are some of the potential solutions?
It's a hatred against a lot of people. It's a hatred against an ideology or against a group of people. It's race-based or religion-based. When it's in Chicago, it's totally hatred against one individual or maybe a group of individuals. So there are a lot of sick people, bad people in the society. And here in America, they can have easy access to automatic weapons. Therefore, they can kill a lot of people in a very short period of time. So that's the difference between America and the rest of the world.
What is an automatic weapon?
Semi-automatic AK-15, semi-automatic, but the guy easily converted into an automatic weapon. That you can kill a lot of people beyond, individuals' self-defense. It's for offense. It's for killing a lot of people. Do you know how many mass killings or mass shootings that have occurred with automatic weapons in this country? Semi-automatic weapons. No, yeah. but the argument is being made, and you mentioned the word automatic a couple of times. Are you aware of any situations in this country that have actually been committed with automatic weapons? Okay, I am not particularly keen on the definition of particular weapon, or I'm no expert of it. All what I know is the use.
But you're invoking terminology, and you're publishing a paper, and you're invoking terminology that would lead the casual reader to believe that you do possess some type of expertise. Isn't that intellectually dishonest to use terminology in a paper that you're publishing for mass consumption without having a firm understanding of the terms that you're invoking in that paper?
Actually, I deliberately use both the terminology from the left and the right. I know the left, they want to use the term assault weapons, whereas on the right-hand side, they use automatic, they make the... I try to, because I am concerned about the guns, the wide availability of guns, of any guns beyond a pistol, okay, even rifles. Okay. So I deliberately use terminologies from both sides, in order to draw attention from both sides, because we need a solution that's agreed upon from both sides. So I mix them. So if you just focus on the right hand side, you try to split hair, and it's not terribly accurate in that sense. But if you consider the terminology used by both sides, actually my articles are pretty acceptable.
I think one of the big concerns, though, is that the people tend to use terminology in an effort to sensationalize a particular topic. And again, I get very, very good, because words have meaning to me. And so if I read a particular word that has a particular definition, and that definition is very finite, then if I read that word, that's going to invoke certain feelings, certain imagery, certain emotions within me. And I think it's really important that anybody who communicates to the masses, they need to make sure that they're using the adequate terminology and the proper terminology, because again, the context of an argument can hinge upon the terminology that a person is using, and the impressions that terminology is going to lead the reader or the viewer or the listener to arrive at.
I agree with you. Your audience is perhaps mostly conservatives, whereas my article is targeted to a wider audience, both left and right. So I deliberately use some terminologies that they like assault weapons. You will perhaps never use the phrase assault weapons in your conversation with your audience, but I do. Okay. So that's the difference. I try to go beyond the so-called conservative community, although I am a conservative per se, especially fiscally. But that's the difference between you and me, I think.
So what do you view as a potential solution to this? I mean, is gun control the answer? Is banning weapons the answer? Is banning things like bump stocks or aftermarket accessories that people put on their various types of firearms? Is that the answer? Or do we need to look at really what the root cause of the problem is?
The latter one, the root cause. I don't have a solution to the gun issue in America, and I don't think there will be any. We need to really go back, look at our history, look at our founding documents, and have a different mindset facing the problem. The problem we face are very, very serious. I have already talked about, the Constitution Amendment. I challenged the statement of all men are created equal. I wrote an article about it saying not all men are created equal. And also, as you know, in the Constitution, we the people, over the years, we have modified that definition, enhancing we the people from some white, rich, property-owning man to women, and to include women and minority. So the Constitution is a living document. We keep changing that with amendments, sometimes correctly, sometimes incorrectly, like prohibition, what we did wrong. Second Amendment, it's time to examine that too. I know gun to America is like bread and butter to mankind. Okay, you cannot. We started as a country. We started our country in violence in the form of revolution with guns, and we expand west with guns. And so it's not an isolated issue, but it's time to revisit Second Amendment, just like we did with the definition of we the people. Okay, we added amendments to enhance that definition, and also we need to understand that not all men are created equal, and not all the races are equal. We are different people, and with different purposes.
So are you saying that all people are not created equal?
No.
Did I just hear you correctly?
They're not. No. Not all men are created. Thomas Jefferson was warned when he wrote the phrase at the time that could have consequences.
So who is created different? How are we created different? See, I believe that we are all born into this world naked and wet, and what we choose to make of that existence once we become conscious and we're able to exercise our free will. I mean, that's up to us, but the issue here is that we are all born equal. So if you're saying all men are not created equal and born equal, well, who is lesser to who is superior in your eyes?
Let me give you one example. We are sports fanatic, right? There's one famous sentence in the sports world. Everything can be learned and can be taught except for height. Okay? Our height is pretty much determined at the time of birth, the genes, everything, okay? Of course, nutrition later will help make a difference, but fundamentally, if we're all American with reasonable living condition, your height is determined at the birth. Now, I suspect intellectually there may be some differences too, but that's hard to measure.
So if a person has an IQ of 50, does that make them less of a human being than a person who has an IQ of 130?
No, you can say that physically, in terms, we all have...
But that wasn't what I asked you. I asked you, as a person who has a diminished IQ, a person who was born with an IQ of 50, are they less of a person? Are they less deserving of freedom and privileges than a person who was born? I happen to have an application in right now with Mensa. I have a very high IQ. So am I a better person by virtue of the fact that I have an IQ that would allow me into an organization like Mensa than a person who has an IQ of 50 and is dependent on other people for basic living?
That's a very good question. In my writings, I insist that a successful country, a country built to last, must develop a meritocracy, a merit-based system that allows people to advance intellectually, economically, and everything else. Like in the world of sports, we have, and the professional sports, before that we have tier system, college, high schools. Politically, it's the same thing. We must develop a system that allows meritocracy. You advance based on your some merit, not by birth or anything. Now, with that, your IQ, your physical capability, your physical will make the difference. Okay, if you're not 6'5", 6'2", forget about playing professional basketball. That's just a matter of fact. Okay, now if your IQ is 50, forget about trying to become a leader in the country, any capacity to lead a larger number of people. Okay, that can happen in America because of our democracy, but it will never happen in China because in China,
in China and in Cuba and in Russia, in Soviet Russia and in Germany, people who had an IQ of 50 were killed. They were murdered because people looked at it and said, because of a meritocracy. And this is one of the fundamental building blocks of socialism. You call yourself a conservative, but what I'm hearing is the same ideology that was responsible for the deaths of millions of people around the world throughout the course of human history, which is, what is the value that you bring to society as a whole? And if you can't contribute something positively to society, then you basically shouldn't exist. I mean, that's what I'm hearing in what you're saying.
No. I think you're taking an extreme position. What I'm, let's talk about them one at a time. Okay. In terms of
here's what I'm going to, Doctor. Here's what I'm going to do. I got to take a quick commercial break. I'm going to let you formulate your response to that. We're going to take a quick commercial break. More with Dr. Frank Lee right after this. You're listening to the Keith Hanson Show on 99.7 FM WNTK and 98.9 FM and 1490 AM WUVR. And of course, if you want to get in on this, 526-9464. That's 526-9464.
We do things the right way here at Summercrest Assisted Living in Newport, and today we're asking residents to describe Summercrest in their own words.
It's a swell place to be. It's the cat's meow. It's Jim Dandy.
No doubt about it. Living here is good.
It doesn't matter how you say it. Life is good here at Summercrest. There's a reason people call us first.
Ask for Lee Stocker, 863-8181.
The Renaissance Shop, a special place to donate special items from your home. All donations are tax deductible, and 100% of sales go to the Lake Sanipee Region Visiting Nurses Association. But don't just donate, come shop at the Renaissance Shop in New London. For more information, please call 526-6711. 526-6711. That's 526-6711.
Why do I bank locally? I guess I first heard of Mascoma Savings Bank from a friend. Or maybe it was that every time I went to a performance or saw the list of sponsors for a community activity, Mascoma Savings Bank seemed to be at the top of the list. I mean, that's important to me, that my bank contributes to the health of our community. But let's be honest, it's really about my money. Getting good rates, receiving valuable advice, being able to access my accounts from anywhere and everywhere, right from my phone, paying my bills online, keeping my financial life organized with text messages that update me on the status of my account, knowing immediately if an important check clears, or I should transfer money from one account to another. I can scan a check for deposit at an ATM or right from my phone. With Mascoma Savings Bank, not only is my bank the best community bank, it's the best high-tech bank too. That's why I bank locally with Mascoma Savings Bank.
Mascoma Savings Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Visit us online at mascomabank.com.
For over 25 years, you've known Subaru of Claremont to be a great place to get a new Subaru or late model pre-owned vehicle. But we realize not everybody has the desire or budget for those types of cars. And because of that, we've now made it a focus to stock a wide variety of affordable vehicles in the $4,000 to $9,000 range. These vehicles are state inspected and ready to go with payments starting well under $150 a month. Currently, we have over a dozen in this price range with more coming in every week. In addition, we have one of the area's widest selection of financing options for nearly every level of credit, regardless of past credit history. Our selection of over 30 banks and credit unions are ready to put you in a vehicle and have you driving today. So come into Subaru of Claremont and find out what we can do for you and view our great selection online at SubaruofClaremont.com.
Your all-wheel drive headquarters for the valley.
Want to buy coins, old jewelry, sterling silver, old watches, medals, or tokens? Twin State Coins and Treasures. Colonial Plaza, West Lebanon. Open Tuesday through Friday, 9:30 to 4:30. Saturday, 9:30 to 2. 603-298-5765.
Now more of the Keith Hanson Show on News Talk 99.7 FM WNTK and News Talk 98.9 FM WUVR.
Crazy. I'm crazy for feeling so lonely.
Nothing like the soothing sounds of Patsy Cline on a crazy day. In 9:48, you're listening to the Keith Hanson Show on 99.7 FM WNTK and 98.9 FM and 1490 AM WUVR. Joining me on the WNTK Newsline is Dr. Frank Lea. We're discussing his article on gun crime and specifically the most recent situation in Las Vegas. His piece entitled "Gun Massacres in America." Dr. Lea, thank you for joining me on the Keith Hanson Show. I certainly appreciate it.
Thank you too.
And I've got Dave in I think Dave's in Canaan here. Wanted to get in the conversation. Dave, welcome to the program. What's on your mind?
Hi, Dave from Enfield.
Thank you. I keep forgetting. I know you're always on, but I just forget what town you're from.
President of Enfield Outing Club as well. Might as well throw that in there, which is a local gun range. Okay, so we would know all about guns. Now, I think there's a lot of people in this country need to get educated about what the Second Amendment's really all about. And while it may have the side benefits of allowing us to protect ourselves against common criminals and to go hunting and such, the purpose is to protect ourselves against a tyrannical government. And I'll just make one statement here, one quote rather. You can trust the government. Just ask any Native American. Now, here's a government that we know has caused genocide, perpetrated genocide against American Indians. And it goes back a ways. But most recently, we have people on the left saying we have systematic racism, and Trump is guilty of genocide, and this stuff is going around. So these are the same people who would probably support gun control. So where are we at here? What's really true? What's really true is the Constitution, and if you want to change anything and get rid of guns, you better go about it the right way, and that is amending the Constitution.
Yeah, and you know, I think one of the things, and Dr. Lee, one of the things you had mentioned, the Constitution being a living, breathing document, quite to the contrary, the very act of drafting the Constitution and putting quill to parchment was almost an act of defiance to the British Crown, that the Founding Fathers understood that they needed to scribe the Constitution so that way it could be read and applied, not read or translated and then interpreted. And there is a very clear process for amending the Constitution. 2/3 of the House, 2/3 of the Senate, 3/4 of the states. And that's how you get a constitutional amendment. But I find it curious that, you know, you being of China, you were actually born in China. So, I mean, what aspect of gun control, and in your article you mentioned, and I'm going to quote you on this, even Bernie Sanders got this one right, parentheses, Bernie Sanders calls for automatic weapons ban after Orlando mass shooting, which, again, there were no automatic weapons used in the Orlando shooting. They were semi-automatics, which is exactly what the shooter in Las Vegas used.
Yes, but they say, okay, I'll give you a long answer here. I'll give a short answer here. Second Amendment, I understand it. Okay, the Constitution, everything at the time the country was created was convenient to go against the British king at the time. But the world has changed, and we at that time was very dangerous. And now just think about it, what we have now. You're conservative, right? We have the biggest army in the world. We are the strongest military in the world. Who can possibly have a gun, a rifle, go against our government, which has the most powerful military in the world? Forget about it, okay? At that time, all men are created equal, we the people, were convenient slogans to go against the British monarchy to be independent. Now we are already independent. We need to find a way to build our country, to make it safe, built to last, everything. Now, the other listener earlier mentioned the Indian government. Our government is not Native American Indians' government. The country was built on violence. At that time, you know, when we went west, we needed guns to protect us against Indians. But times are different now. We need a new, not new constitution, new amendments to rearrange the country. We don't have British monarchy anymore. We don't have red coats anymore. But we do have external powers. But the most
the same tyranny, or the concept of tyranny that was expressed under the British monarchy, is the exact same tyranny that we have seen rise up in nation upon nation upon nation. Here's the difference between our country and all of the other nations in the world. Our history would be fundamentally different. The United States of America would have absolutely guaranteed by now joined the fraternity of countries like Soviet Russia, like your motherland, China, like Cuba, and like Germany, had it not been for the fact that we, the people, have the right to keep and bear arms. Because tyranny is tyranny, whether it comes in the form of a British crown or whether it comes in the form of a revolutionary on a small southern island 90 miles off the coast of this country. Tyranny is tyranny, and you are always going to have people who are motivated by violence and greed and the desire to control other people. And the beautiful thing about this country, Doctor, is we have the firearms to be able to say, no, not going to happen. You are not going to take control of us. We are not going to become subjects to a crown, whether that's literal or figurative. We will never bow a knee. We will never bow before our leaders. We are the people. The government does not control us.
If we truly have a government of the people, by the people, for the people, why are we so afraid of our government? The problem is we don't have a government like that. Okay, it's perhaps even worse than British monarchy. Therefore, we think, okay, we need arms, we keep arms to defend ourselves. Everything is a lie. You cannot have both. You either agree our government is not of the people, by the people, for the people, or it's worse than tyranny. Therefore, we need guns now, just like we did 200 years ago to go against the British monarchy. You can't have both ways. Just like everything else, our founding fathers did their best to create a country at the time. Okay, but they deferred many critical issues to later generations, such as slavery and the relationship between state and the federal government. The conservatives, when convenient, use the state against the federal government, or vice versa. When it goes to spend on military, they spend so much money that they want to cut everything else. So the solutions are complicated. You have to go look at the root cause with an open mind. Forget about the Constitution, whatever.
I get it. I'm running out of time here. I'm running out of time here, Doctor. But I will tell you this one thing. I'm going to get you back on the program because I think we're having a good conversation. But the one thing I will tell you is I will never forget about the Constitution, because the Constitution is the recognition of my God-given rights. These are not rights that another man has bestowed upon me. This is the recognition of the rights that are guaranteed to me by God and are protected by my country. And I will fight to the death to protect and preserve those rights and the rights of my fellow citizens of the great United States of America. We got to leave it right there. Dr. Frank Lee, have yourself a great day. We will get you back on again, and I'll keep an eye out for your book as well.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. 9:56, you are listening to the Keith Hanson Show on 99.7 FM WNTK and 98.9 FM and 1490 AM WUVR. We'll get him back on again because, again, I think this is a great opportunity to kind of poke around inside the head of a person who doesn't necessarily think the way that we do. It's an important conversation that we need to have, however, and we have to keep that dialogue going. 9:56, listening to the Keith Hanson Show, and we will be right back to wrap up right after this.
So where's the big deal? It's Crazy Dave Gifford from the Autosaver Group's Newport Chevrolet Buick GMC, and I'm here with my right-hand man, Matt LeCaire. Say hi, Matt.
Hey, guys. So, Dave, I want to do a lease special for October's Truck Month on this 2017 GMC Sierra Double Cab. I was thinking
$149 a month.
Okay, Dave, I know they call you crazy. This is a four-wheel drive double cab with an MSRP of $47,225.
That's right, $149 a month.
Z71 off-road package.
$149 a month.
Power seat.
I'll say it again, $149 a month.
Spray-on bed liner.
$149.
Remote car starter.
You know it, $149 a month.
Okay, so Dave, all you need is $2,500 cash or trade equity.
And it's $149 a month.
It must be in a current Buick or GMC lease.
That's correct, $149 a month.
So Dave, do they still get the big deal plus at $149 a month?
That's right, Matt. All included at $149 a month.
GMC Sierra SLE Double Cab Lease with 10,000 miles per year, 39 months, 13 to choose from for just $149 a month.
We do things the right way here at Summercrest Assisted Living in Newport, and today we're asking residents to describe Summercrest in their own words.
It's an excellent time.
It's the bee's knees.
No doubt about it, life is good here.
It doesn't matter how you say it, life is good here at Summercrest. There's a reason people call us first.
Ask for Lee Stocker, 863-8181, or visit us online at summercrest.net.
All that's missing is your input. Call Keith at 603-526-9464.
9:58, you are listening to the Keith Hanson Show on 99.7 FM WNTK, 98.9 FM and 1490 AM WUVR. I'm going to put a link up on the Facebook page to Dr. Frank Lee's article. It's an interesting read, and again, I mean, it's a glimpse into the mind of somebody who, well, he's calling himself a conservative, but I'm not exactly picking up those conservative vibes. I don't know about you. I'm also going to put up a SoundCloud file of today's show. Certainly encourage you to share that with your friends, and again, have the conversation about it. Try to keep the conversation of facts, though. Please, we don't need the conspiracy theories. There's just far too many of those that are going around right now. That's going to do it for the program. Be sure to join me tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. a.m. Michael Friedson in Jerusalem. Michael Esker, Talk Media News. Bella Stahusky, she's going to be in for Liz Henning. We're also going to be checking in with Rick Bergeron, the Claremont Fire Chief, and much, much more. Tom Hoyt from Mascoma Savings Bank. Try to get outside and enjoy today. It's going to be a beautiful day out there. And once again, try to be nice to one another. The world needs a little bit more just pleasant people. Have a great day. Talk to everybody tomorrow morning at 6 a.m.
Compelling talk, local news, community-driven. News Talk 99.7, WNTK New London.